He then went and retrieved a shotgun, said, "I got something for you," and cocked a gun. He grabbed her by the hair and neck. He strangled her.
I know, because he didn't go take care of them. That's why they're old.
I was in prison.
You just don't want to admit that you sent it to the wrong person?
I very well could have, Judge. I am willing to admit my fault.
Welcome to Bench Report Court Cam.
Your name, sir?
Heyman.
Thank you.
At this time, Your Honor, I'll be requesting adjournment to obtain and review media discovery with Mr. Heyman. I would also like to address bond when appropriate.
Probable cause conference will be adjourned January 30th, 2025, 9 a.m. as to bond.
Yes, Your Honor. Talking to Mr. Heyman making me request a release on a tether. Mr. Heyman would be able to release to his father's address. He currently helps his father in taking care of him because his father does have some mobility issues after a car accident. Mr. Heyman has been consistently working. So at this time, I'd like to request a release on a PR bond, tether, or in the alternative, a reduction in the bond.
Response.
The people opposed to the reduction in bond. We originally requested $100,000 in this case. We're giving $50,000 for 10%. In this case, the difference is broken up, and he was at the victim's residence. In the car, they got into an argument. He slammed the victim's door and pinned her by the chest. Get away from the defendant, go in her house and lock the door. He kicked the door, the deadbolt was still locked, and they continued to argue. He then went and retrieved a shotgun, said, "I got something for you," and cocked a gun, and completely denied this at arraignment. So people have concerns about public safety and would ask the court not to respond.
Anything else?
I was able to speak to Mr. Heyman's father, who is here this morning. He says he would be responsible for Mr. Heyman, and he has that support. So I would still request a reduction in bond.
Well, given the court does consider him a danger to the public, most for bond reduction denied. Bond continues.
Thank you. And on behalf of the people.
Have you spoken to this is Mr. Orr, Your Honor?
It is. Has been for the last 5 minutes. He's been saying it. Mr. Bukovich's case?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. Oh, he's coming up right now.
Public Defender Fellow Nicholas Bukovich on behalf of Mr. Orr.
Mr. Orr, can you state your name, please? Jason Orr. Thank you.
At this time, Your Honor, I'll be requesting a preliminary exam date. To our knowledge, discovery is. I would also be addressing bond when appropriate.
Would people have their witnesses available the 28th?
We'll do our best, Your Honor.
Preliminary examination, January 28, 2025, 9 a.m. before Judge
Barr.
Judge Barr. That's the bond.
As to bond, yes, Your Honor. After speaking with Mr. Orr, he would like me to request a release on tether to his mother's address in Suzanne Court in Inkster, Michigan. He's currently working on getting licensure for such things as HVAC and pool maintenance. He has a couple more classes to complete. He's been unable to complete these classes due to being in custody. So he would like to be able to go out, be released, complete these classes, and be able to begin work in this field. So I'll be asking for a release on tether or, in the alternative, a reduction in bonds.
Response.
Pulled out of Oakland County for an OWI, in which the bond is $7,500. He also has a previous ED conviction from 2010 and other controlled substances and high VHC. He also, in this case, the victim and defendant were arguing. He grabbed her by the hair and neck. She tried to break free, her to the ground. He strangled her and let go. He found out the police were called. The police were called by their daughter when she heard the victim scream for her to call the police. And their son had to step in to stop the assault. He also threatened to kill the victim numerous times that day of the assault, as well as during the assault that was also heard by their daughter. So we would object to any reduction in bond.
Anything else?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Motion for bond reduction denied. Bond. Court calls case People versus Thomas Rascal.
Ashley Lundy for the people.
Stephanie Shannon on behalf of Mr. Rascal, who's appearing to my right. Could you please state your name for the record?
Thomas Rastel.
Yes, you're requesting an adjournment.
Yes, Your Honor. So this case was adjourned previously for my client to interview with sobriety court. He has done so. He was not accepted. Not because of, I'm sorry, I haven't even had the opportunity to tell him I got an email this morning. And I will go over the reasons with him why. I would like the opportunity to try and mitigate this down a bit. In the meantime, Your Honor, and my client would like to address bond.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, the reason for my client, he is actually a perfect candidate and a great candidate for sobriety court, but because of matters outside of this jurisdiction, older matters outside of this jurisdiction, he was not accepted into our sobriety court. My client wants to fight the warrant that brought him here. He wants to fight it. He gave me a backstory behind that. My client is not actually a threat to the community. He will be here for every court appearance that the court wants him to be here for. He just has a substance abuse problem. He is willing to be released into treatment if the court is inclined to do so. He was homeless. He just got a home. He's back in a home now. He has animals that he needs to take care of in that home. He's willing to be tethered there, Your Honor. We honestly thought that sobriety court was going to work for him.
Well, the problem is there's nothing in place and he's already violated the conditions of his bond previously, right?
Your Honor, my client, the judge. Your Honor, my client, as far as, and I went over the bond violations with him. He's indicated that he has a medical marijuana card. And so there is that. If you are telling him that he can't smoke that, even with that.
I'm not saying he admitted to the violation.
Your Honor.
Your Honor. Okay. Your Honor, my client, again, he just has a substance abuse problem. If the court,
I understand that.
if the
But
treatment, he's fine with that.
Ms. Lundy.
Your Honor, the difficulty is at the time of this case when the defendant was stopped, it's my understanding that because he had a no bond bench warrant for a felony CCW out of Lafayette Village, so it's not just a substance abuse problem that seems to be going on here. There seems to be tangential things that are very concerning to the public. And we do have the issue with the violation here. I also show currently in X jail, we have 2 out-of-county holds. One for Battle Creek with a $200 bond for retail fraud, one out of Lansing for another retail fraud case for $868 bond. So the concern here is that if there is a PR, it's not going to be released. Likely they will go to a different location or several locations in the state. I'm asking the court to continue the bond. I haven't seen the denial, so I haven't seen why he didn't get in treatment in court. But if it is as represented, I'm sure it will be, absolutely. As defense counsel saying, it's because of his other cases throughout the state. So that concerns the people and its ability to remain law-abiding bondholders.
Your Honor, he has no holds. I checked into it. There's no, according to X jail, he is not being held for the CCW charge. They're not looking for him.
She's going to show you the holds
for
before you make that representation to the
He
court.
has the two smaller ones, but not for the CCW.
Oh, 2 small holds.
I meant to say not
Those
for
are
the CCW, Your Honor.
because they're small, they're not holds.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're really, really old charges, Your Honor, and my client wants to address those as well.
I know because he didn't go take care of them. That's why they're old.
I
I was
understand.
in prison.
Thank you. Your Honor, we would just like to ask to be allowed out in bond.
Motion for bond reduction tonight. Bond will continue. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jake Moore,
Court shall feast to Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, please state your name for the record.
Teresa Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. I understand this case is understand this was up a couple of weeks ago and we were waiting for a mental health court evaluation to be completed. I have not received anything to date. I may have been emailing the wrong person. My colleague is going to put me in touch with the right person at the mental health court, trying to find out what to
So
do.
you sent it to the wrong person.
I'm not sure I have, but I was just told this morning that there may be a new contact person who's
You
not.
just don't want to admit that you sent it to the wrong person?
I very well could have, Judge. I am willing to admit my faults. I may have. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have him run it down for me and help me out because he's a
Okay,
specialist.
so really what we do is just blame Bellinger.
Yes, it was definitely Judge.
Yeah, okay, all right, then I understand.
Yeah.
He probably went to the
Yeah, he
wrong.
gave us the wrong name, Judge.
And my back hurts from carrying the team.
Yes, it does.
So we need a brief adjournment, please.
I'm just here.
All right. So how much more time do you,
Well,
if
should be
it gets, have you been interviewed, ma'am?
Oh, yes, I have. Her name is Rebecca Elder.
Okay, so she got interviewed. So let me go 2 weeks out. So hopefully maybe we'll have something.
That'll be nice.
January 30th, 2025, 9 a.m. Bond continued.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Judge.
Your Honor.
All right, thank you, John.
Ah.
Come on.
Thanks for watching. Stick around longer and click the highlighted videos to your right. See you there.